let's move into our next game here. What I would consider a marquee game of the slate. Knicks Pistons. This game, let's see, is going to be between the number 1 and number 3 seeds in the East. Though I guess if you haven't really been paying attention to the NBA much this year, you might not realize the Pistons have a 6-game lead in that spot. They are very firmly entrenched as the top seed. Can't say enough about the turnaround for this franchise. I mean, frankly, one of the NBA's more iconic as well. So it's nice to see them kind of get out of the pit. Just 2 seasons removed from a 14-win year. They're only 4 wins behind last year's 44-win season, showing no signs of slowing down, really. Knicks-wise, team is hot, won 10 of 12 heading into the break. They're getting OG Anunoby back after he missed 4 games with a toe injury, while the Pistons tonight will be without Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart for suspension after last week's brawl. We'll say the Pistons are notably incredible as underdogs this year. They have won 9 of 10 outright when priced as dogs, an absolute cheat code if you've been betting on them. But I got to say that's probably pretty reliant on them being at full strength, which they won't be tonight. Pistons did win both of these meetings this season in 30-point blowouts. They had Stewart in those games. OG Anunoby missed the most recent one for the Knicks. So it's a different lineup for both teams tonight than it has been in the previous meetings this season. The spread has dropped a point from its best line. So if you are keen on the Knicks here, you're getting a better number than you did early on. But we do have another sweet spot money line play, just around 66%. Same edge range, so 6.4% ROI over 160 money line bets this season. Odds have shortened up just a little bit. These guys were at like minus 180 last night. Now they have minus 160. Still a little juicy for me to bet an outright money line personally. But, the model says there's value here. And if you are strictly an EV bettor, this looks like a pretty solid play. Knicks are a lot better at home this season, 21-7, 4th best winning percentage in the NBA. That addition at the trade deadline of Jose Alvarado should help immensely, especially with them trying to slow down Kate Cunningham tonight. Personally think the Knicks get this one done. And to call back to the Nuggets, I put this in an article I published last night that a Nuggets-Knicks money line parlay might be a nice little play tonight. You can get their juicy odds of minus 170, minus 180 down to plus 135, plus 140, depending on where you get each of them at. Both sweet spots, both over 65% probability from the model. Pretty solid play for a little plus money 2-legger. You could even maybe get both on the spread. The model does lean in that way for them. You got a projected 5-point win here for the Knicks, so covering the original spread and the 3.5 here. I certainly like that tonight. I think they're going to bounce back. I think the Knicks get a little revenge here. I don't see them going 0-3 against the Pistons, who are banged up, who aren't going to phone it in the rest of the season, but with a nice little number 1 seed cushion, wouldn't be surprised to see them looking ahead in some spots, especially if the game, maybe gets out of hand a little early. We could possibly see the reverse of the other games and a 20, 30-point blowout at the hands of the Knicks tonight.
Yep. Yeah, I'll add a couple of quick Pistons thoughts. I agree spot-wise, especially Knicks hugely here. I think anytime you've got like 2 contender-level teams and one gets the better of the other in the first couple meetings, I feel like that other team is kind of looking for the moment to pounce whenever you get a chance and you get their full attention. And given the Pistons are without multiple bigs in this game that I think are a huge part of the matchup. Karl Anthony Towns was terrible in one of the losses earlier this season. I think he had 6 points against the Pistons in the first loss. I just feel like you're going to get the Knicks' best punch, and they're probably the better team right now, at least without both Duren and Stewart in the lineup for Detroit. So as much as I love the underdog angle with my hometown Detroit Pistons, I think Cade Cunningham's going to get up for this one, of course. It's really just props for me in this game outside of leaning strongly to Knicks money line. I would look at Towns given the matchup, but the problem is Towns' lines are nuked, as you'd expect. The sports books are pretty smart with that. So, his lines are all 2 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist higher than we project him as. And I say we being the Dimers model. So there's not really much value there, even if you're trying to attack this dismantled Pistons front court. I do have one that's standing out to me as something that could be worth a look. We'll have to see what the projections say for him. But Tobias Harris in the one game without the 2 Pistons bigs was actually the guy who stepped up and had 12 rebounds in 31 minutes against Toronto. And at a quick look, Tobias's lines are not nuked. He's minus 114 for 6 rebounds. You could ladder him up to 10 rebounds at plus 750. He has a bunch of 6+ rebound games. He had 8+ rebounds in 2 of his last 8, even with Duren and Stewart in the lineup. I feel like he's probably going to be asked to play big minutes again, as great as Paul Reed is, and people love him off the bench typically. I don't know that Reed is necessarily just going to be this enforcer putting up huge lines. I think it's the other Piston staples that will have to step up. So I have Tobias rebounds, a small, maybe 1.5 unit max play, staggered across a rebound ladder up to 10 rebounds tonight.
Yeah, I like that spot. They're going to need Harris. They're going to need Duncan Robinson, Oscar Thompson, all to step up tonight if they want to hang in this one. So he's probably seems like maybe the best beneficiary of that in terms of cashing in on the rebounds. We do have Paul Reed for 13 and 9. There is a different angle for him that I couldn't help but look at. Looks like one of them is gone. His steals now have an edge on Cade and Oscar Thompson for steals, though. But Paul Reed, we had an edge on him for over 1.5 blocks and then also 1.5 steals. Right now we have it for the blocks, 48.6%, projected 1.3 at plus 148. Just an interesting one for me because he's third on the depth chart at center with Duren and Stewart out, so he should slide right up in here. His first start with them suspended going into the break saw him tally 4 blocks and 3 steals. So probably a outlier if more than anything, but with the model seeing an edge in those 2 markets when I was doing the research and then considering his role in that first start with both of those guys out, thought that was a little interesting to look at. Bet it cautiously. It's under a 50% probability, but it's a really good edge there if that is something you're looking at. And then looking at the rebounds matchup, Cade's an interesting one for me. Not a lot of significantly exploitable positional matchups here, which isn't really surprising. You have 2 of the better teams in the league. But if you get into kind of the nitty-gritty stuff, you see the Knicks are ranked actually 29th in the NBA versus guards grabbing boards over their last 15. Cade's been in triple-double range before. He's gotten them before. We've got him projected for 5.0. Doesn't super line up with the model for him to climb a rebounds ladder. Obviously, this runs counter to Greg's insights on Tobias Harris. But I think you could entertain maybe his double-double instead of boards that way. You get him at plus money, which he's, not automatic at doing so, but his assists usually carry him right up into that range. So if you bet his double-double, then maybe he doesn't turn in the assists. You get the boards. Maybe he gets the boards. He doesn't get the boards. He gets the assists. Kind of gives you an out in case he goes with his normal game and doesn't take advantage of the matchup. A triple-double is only plus 1,100. So there's upside there. It's not priced particularly long for somebody like that. He's not usually that short for a triple-double. 8+ rebounds at plus 330 might kind of be the best of both worlds. You get into longer odds without him needing to hit that 10. If you like maybe the more conservative play, I think a Cade double-double at basically even money, it was plus 100 on FanDuel last I looked, is probably a pretty solid play. It'll give you, a couple paths to hit that anyway.